6:30. We're having a planning, please start a meeting. We're going to have a meeting, planning. We're having a planning and zoning commission. We'll hold a meeting on specified date, Thursday, January 9th, 2025 at 6:30 PM. Roll call. Mike McLeod, I'm here. I'm the chairperson. Sam Houston Clinton, vice chair. Here. Catherine Glaze, mayor.
Here.
Terry Werner.
Here.
Matthew McGovern.
Here.
Ex Mayor Pro Tem, and Laura Sanchez Fowler.
Here.
Here, okay. Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now for the Texas pledge.
On your Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, and please remain standing for the invocation. Dear gracious Heavenly Father, Lord God, first of all, thank you for the rain. And Lord God, we do lift up our neighbors in California, and we just ask that you stop those winds and just help those poor people that are losing their homes. Lord God, as we go forth tonight and learn about these different properties, I just ask that you just give us guidance and help us to remember that we're all neighbors here together, and that we all would like to see Martindale remain a beautiful place to live. And I do thank you for the gift of salvation. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. We are gonna have public comment, but I think at this time, it'd be beneficial to kind of explain what we're doing here. And basically, James, our code enforcement personnel, can you, first of all, explain to everybody our ordinance here?
I'll take that, James. If you don't
You
mind.
want it?
Yeah. So Jared Annable, city administrator, part of my duties is also serving as a zoning administrator. This tonight's is a hearing before the Planning and Zoning Commission regarding substandard structure. So even though it's a planning and zoning matter, the applicable ordinance is actually within our public nuisances. And so what we're looking at tonight are substandard structures. There's two types that are available in that ordinance that are discussed: unsafe buildings and unoccupied buildings. Each of the properties you see listed on the agenda fell within one of those two categories. Meaning for unsafe buildings, there's some violation, appeared to be in a violation of the International Property Maintenance Code. And that makes the structure unsafe or inhabitable. Unoccupied buildings are those that could be entered by vagrants and the like, uninvited persons. So before tonight's meeting, a notice of violation was sent to the property owners. And the notice contained the date, time, location of tonight's meeting, and the statement that the owner, lien holder, or mortgagee is required to submit proof at this hearing of any work that might be required to comply with the ordinance, and the time that it will take to reasonably perform the work to correct the condition of the unsafe or unoccupied building. Tonight is the initial hearing. At the result of this hearing is that the Planning and Zoning Board may require the owner, lien holder, mortgagee of the building to, within 30 to 90 days, secure the building or repair or demolish the building if it's unoccupied or unsafe. The ordinance specifically says that the Planning and Zoning Board may not go beyond the 90 days unless a detailed plan of work schedule to be performed goes beyond. At the conclusion of, or during this hearing, it's important to note that for the Planning and Zoning Board, in hearing to determine whether a building complies with the standards set out in the property maintenance code or as a unoccupied building, that the burden of proof to demonstrate what scope of work is required to repair or remediate that condition is borne by the owner, lien holder, or mortgagee. So in tonight's hearing, my recommendation to the P and Z board members is to ask questions related to what it would take to get these structures to be in compliance and what nature of the work that needs to be performed will be and the time required. Because you're looking at a 30 to 90 day grant. After the hearing, the planning and zoning board, the city, will send by certified mail a notice of the results of tonight's hearing with the date and time that's required for the projects to be, or the properties to be remediated.
Jared, I would like to request that we receive a copy of that before it's sent out.
There's a very strict 10-day,
That's
Date,
fine. You can send it to
order.
me at 9 days. I'll get it right back to you, but I think it needs to be proofread and make sure that it complies with what the standards are. I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
okay, we'll talk about that. The, it includes not only a copy of the order being filed with the city clerk, published a notice in the public, local newspaper, and instructions in that notice on where a complete copy of the order may be obtained. After the expiration of the time granted by the planning and zoning board, as you set tonight, for the repair, removal, or demolition of the building, or relocation of occupants of an unsecured building, the city may refer a property owner to the municipal court, vacate any unauthorized occupants, secure, remove, or demolish the building, repair the building itself, and assess expenses onto the land on which the building stands, or assess civil penalties for failure to repair. Those civil penalties not to exceed $1,000 per day for each violation. And, or if the owner shows that the property is a lawful homestead, an amount not to exceed $10 per day per violation. And then it goes on about securing unoccupied buildings. Then it's all pretty scary, right? The intent is just to set a common understanding and a standard for having these properties remediated and a plan to make that happen as a first step towards those goals. So tonight, nobody is being fined or anything like that. This is a hearing to understand the nature of the problem and to come to an agreement with the planning and zoning board on the timelines and what it would take to repair it and set some standards and expectations.
Would you
May I
consider,
jump in?
let me just ask him real quick though, would you consider those standards actions? Because in the agenda here, it says possible action. It doesn't say that we have to take action on each of these individual properties. It says possible action.
It does not, the ordinance doesn't state at which point the planning and zoning board must submit its order. It just says after the hearing, before the planning and zoning board, the city will send the certified mail, et cetera. So if there's a situation where after tonight's hearing, I would hope that planning and zoning board would be able to set a reasonable timeline. But there might be conditions I've discussed about that would necessitate further discussion amongst the planning and zoning board. But the city can't send out that notice, being city employees, can't send out that notice until there's a determination made by the planning and zoning board on what what that expectation is for remediation.
Thank you.
Okay, for clarification, these 7 properties, during this meeting, each individual owner will be discussing their property with us. So if y'all were going to do public comment, you're welcome to do that, but whoever these properties belong to, they will have the discussion directly with the council here and the commission, okay?
I want to do public comment, please.
Okay, you're fine.
I'm not a
No, wait,
property
I'll
owner.
let, please, Susan, please, just explain. Everybody's gonna get public comment. We're just trying to explain what we're gonna do in this meeting.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is why we're doing ahead of the public comment to explain the process. Okay,
Gotcha.
so you'll have your time, trust me.
Thank you.
So, I guess the best way to go forward, James, can you kind of tell us the process that you came going through this on these properties?
Sure. I'm on my normal duties. I drive around the city, and it came to my attention that there were several structures that seemed to be unsafe or unsecured. So with that,
How did it come to your?
Wait, please, sir,
I'm sorry, you said it came to your
Sir,
attention.
sir,
How did it-
sir.
by driving
Sir.
around,
Sir, you'll have your public comment.
any structure that is visible from the roadway, that's in public view, I look at. And going off the code for Martindale 91.50, if it appears unsafe or if there's access to the property that's not secure or uninhabitable, that's how I make my determination. From there, a yellow sticker is applied, sometimes by tape or maybe on the fence. Not always it's under the greatest conditions to apply these yellow door hangers. So from there, I take a picture of what I see. And then from that, I write a little report with the picture on there. And then from there, I bring it to y'all's attention, and then that's where the letters get sent.
So, so James, so a lot of this is a safety concern because we have buildings that are dilapidated, they're not secure. Young children, whoever, can access these properties. So a lot of it's a safety concern.
Yes.
You know, it could be a rusty nail or a rat or whatever, and somebody get injured.
I object to this.
Sir,
I
sir,
object.
sir,
Safety is
Sir.
an opinion word.
hey,
Don't think so.
hey, sir, you will have your public comment.
But
you
you're not
will-
allowed
sir.
to lead the audience on
Sir.
a certain way.
You're out of order. You could speak, you'll
Go ahead,
have,
Finish,
no, you cannot.
please finish,
Yes,
please.
I will. Okay, you will have your public comment and you will,
Please finish, I'm not talking,
okay, good. Okay,
I will object,
you're pushing my patience, buddy.
that's okay.
Okay, so, so that's the process you're going through, correct?
Yes.
So it's a lot of safety concern. Basically, we don't want anybody to get hurt or injured,
Correct.
correct?
Or that's particularly the case in an unoccupied building, which most of these, if not all of them, probably would apply. It's also substandard structure where it fails the property maintenance code, being broken windows, failing roof, or exposed, the interior of the structure is exposed to the element in some way. Any of those type of violations are the things that I spoke with James about to be on lookout as he does his patrol, and that's where these came from.
Okay. Okay, now it's time for public comment. Okay, so Susan?
Yes,
you're
sir.
first
Thank
up.
you.
Take the floor.
I appreciate it, and I'm gonna read this because I want to make sure I stay within my time. My comments tonight are directed to Mayor Glaze and her staff. I think you all should be ashamed. I'm so embarrassed. If the letters that went out to Mr. Pardo are all identical, and I'm gonna assume they are, and if they are, that nothing that Jared just said is true.
Here, here.
It's embarrassing to have a letter like this come from my city, but not just embarrassing, it's ridiculously unfair to my
Here, here.
neighbors who received it. It does not constitute notice of any kind.
You're here.
It's in the violation of your own ordinance. It says in 9153, notice of such, remember the word violation, notice of violation. This letter that I have, that I assume everybody got, is a copy of the ordinance and a copy of some exceptions to the transportation code. There's not one thing in there that tells them what's wrong with their house. Not one.
You're here.
And then you expect them to come in and tell you tonight what they're gonna repair, how long it's gonna take, how much it's gonna cost, whether they need more time. And you're gonna give them 30 to 90 days to do it without even freaking telling them what's wrong with their house.
Here, here.
That is freaking ridiculous, y'all. The other thing I noticed you said, maybe you didn't read the letter. but it didn't have a location. It didn't have a time. It said January the 9th,
2024.
2024. That's all it said. It didn't say at City Hall. It didn't say at 6:30. Luckily, people passed the word around. Everybody seems to have found it. You know why? Because their property is important to them. But y'all are treating it like it's not. They have to guess what they have to fix. The notice also has to contain a statement that the owner, lien, mortgagee will be required to submit proof at the hearing of any work that may be required to comply with the ordinance and the time it will take to reasonably perform the work. Your lawyer can tell you that the word shall means what it says. That statement is nowhere in that letter. Lastly, no offense to you, Mr. Leal, but you call yourself a code inspector and you're not. The law even says that unless you're registered or licensed, you can't use that term. You can use it if you have a peace officer license, but you don't have that anymore. At least according to the state of Texas. The weird thing about it is, y'all, Mr. Leal doesn't have to be registered. He just can't use a title that he hasn't earned. He can still do the enforcement. It's unnecessary. I understand that ordinances need to be enforced, and I understand that the mayor and
10
the chief,
seconds.
thank you, are responsible for it, but they don't apply equally to everyone. You guys don't follow them, but you expect all of us to.
Okay, Joe Martinez.
Yes, I'm just here to interpret for those that don't understand English or speak it.
I asked Mr. Martinez
That's
if
my
he
comment.
would speak it in Spanish. I'm not a Spanish speaking person.
That's fine.
Am I next on the
Thank
list?
What's? You want to speak next? We can do that. Go ahead. Did you finish, Joe?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
thank you.
you're welcome.
I'm gonna just say one sentence.
Yeah.
And then I want to wait till you say when we get to Spanish.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Some of you, like Paula had, I've known almost since she was 4 years old. I came here to Martindale in 1993 from San Antonio.
Buenas tardes, esta señora vino a esta ciudad de San Antonio en 94.
I didn't know anyone in the town. I didn't know much about the town. I immediately bought the house that Leslie Martindale was selling, which is located next to the Baptist church. You probably know it. It looks kind of like cedar post fencing. I also, within a couple of months, I bought 2.5 acres of frontage on the river that the Catholic Church was selling. The land looked abandoned. It had some like cars that had washed down the river and so forth. So I was immediately cleaning the property. And I was there virtually every day. I was a practicing lawyer. I had an office in San Marcos. I had cases in Lockhart and San Marcos, sometimes Seguin. But because I was new, I wasn't that busy yet. So I was over at my new 2.5 acres of riverfront property, and my next door neighbor was Vivian Gonzalez.
That's a lot.
Ella vino a esta ciudad, no conocía a nadie, estaba sola ella y vino aquí a esta ciudad a ayudarle a la gente que necesita ayuda. Por lo que también ella compró unos acres aquí en esta ciudad, en el lado de la iglesia bautista, y todos los demás comenzaron a venir con ella para que le dieran a su apoyo.
I was a pretty sophisticated person. I had been in San Antonio for 15 years. I lived in a historic district. I was really active. I went to St. Mary's University Law School there, graduated. I've been around a variety of people for many years. The most elegant person, man or woman, that I met in this town was Viviana Gonzalez.
Sí, ella vino y conoció a esta señora Viviana que vino de otra ciudad y ella era una mujer muy elegante y quería ella saber qué es lo que se trataba de esta ciudad, a ver cómo iba a saber los tratos de la ciudad.
Vivian knew how to treat people well and did 100% of the time.
Your time is up.
Can you wrap it up in 30 seconds?
Her granddaughters that are here tonight, and one of them is Esther, and the other one is Paulette, had never in their lives experienced such crudeness, such inability to be respectful, inability to recognize the rights of other people, inability to present the truth of the matter. They have never been exposed to that until now. And it's you. It's you. Vivian had class. She's still alive. She's not real.
Ella tiene sus dos hijas aquí, vinieron a presentar también con esta señora y era una mujer con clase y también tenían otras ideas con esta señora.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Muchas gracias, señorita. And
Gracias.
Thank you.
Is there, let's see. Is there any more? I got 3 up here. Is anybody else want? Go ahead, you got it. I guess you could fill it out real quick.
Right.
We got a record.
Do you have it?
Is there any forms over there?
They're up there.
They're on the
No,
electronic,
they're
over there,
not.
they're on the
Okay.
Okay,
electronic.
I've got one.
Sure. Go ahead.
Well, my name is Ruth Ann Adams, and I grew up in Martindale all my life. I'm 55 years old. My great grandmother was Antonia Gonzalez. She had the estate of Antonia Gonzalez down the street on Main Street, or had. Her son was Jesse Gonzalez, and that was my grandfather. And Jesse owned the home on Main Street, him and my grandmother, Lenisa Gonzalez, right here on the front of the estate of Antonia Gonzalez. Her daughters are here, Yolanda and Virginia. They are the estate of Antonia Gonzalez's granddaughters, and they are here. We came basically tonight to introduce ourselves and to also let everyone in the city know our concerns and so forth. We also had a big input into the properties and the things that happened on the properties as well. We also received a certified letter last year regarding some issues that were going on onto the property that others were seeing. I think the city is well aware of it and they are handling the matter on their own. Clearly, I'm here to say that when I was given the letter from my father when he lost the home in 2015, I was sent a letter as well as the other houses on the property, and I was told and demanded to either demolish the house and get it inspected and see if they're qualified to be refurbished or fixed. I did that. I complied and did what I had to do, hired a demolition, paid the permit fee, did everything I had to do, and I followed the rules. So I'm not here to say that everyone else.
That's not yours.
I'm here to say that everyone else needs to comply to these rules and ordinance and your guidelines, because if one person has to do it in Martindale, the entire city has to do it. It's not fair that I had to do what I was told, right? And that came from your office, but other people can do whatever they want and no one has to pay permit fees, no one has to get inspections, no one has to do anything. And now, for me, I have the estate of Claudia Gonzalez Senior, okay? I have the letters of testimony that were given through the Caldwell County Court, and I'm going to do something with that slab. And I just want y'all to know that I am going to comply, and I have got something in the works, and you will get it soon to your office. But I want you to know that what's good for one person needs to be good for the entire city, period. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. You want to speak real quick?
Yes, I could do it for my ears. Sonia Gonzalez Villalobos, I'll make it quick. So I thank you, Councilmember Sam for putting it out on Facebook. I'm the one that went ahead and listed the names because I feel like it's very important for people to know. Some people do not have access to internet. Some people are not familiar with how to use the Caldwell County site. And I'm just gonna break it down for you. When we look at it, look at our faces and look at the colors that are here in the crowd. Look at where the land is. It's near the river. So this is a vulnerability to persons of color who are homeowners. And it's kind of apparent to me that it's a land grab for the river, in order to like strong arm you into what you need to do. There's a lot of other houses that are listed that are not on the list. So exactly like she was saying, it should be for everyone. So if I put your name on Facebook and you were uncomfortable with it, I do apologize, but I just wanted to make sure that your neighbors, like I show up for you and your family shows up for you. So thank you for being here.
Okay, well, anybody else?
You're on the road.
Okay,
So I've got some paper that I want to give to every councilman. On six.
sure, bring it up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. All right. So, it is, 6:56. We're gonna close public comment. Now we're going to new business and discussion of possible action items, which are these properties. So the first property in discussion is property ID number get my glasses. 27905. And that's Ben and Rosa.
Yes.
Is that you? Okay. So I guess the question, first of all, do y'all own that property? Is that y'all's property? That is your property? Okay. So I guess, so you own the property. So I guess my question would be, what is your plan for that property? Can we actually?
Would it be helpful for James to give a quick overview before?
Yeah, let's do an
before we go?
overview and put the picture of the property up. I'm sorry. Let's put a picture of the property up for everybody to see,
Why is that?
so everybody can see the property,
Why?
just to show, just information.
I'm the right one, right?
Keep going. You don't want
27905. I think you just went by.
Right on the highway, you
Is it-
can't miss
I
it.
had him in order.
7905.
Oh, I thought you had the
Which
picture
one
of
is it?
James, yeah. James, sorry.
I don't have those.
have the pictures, do
We're selling it.
So the picture that I have was taken back in August. This has been an ongoing project for the last year. During this time on August 3rd, when I took this picture, the property appeared to be unoccupied. And there was a front door that was missing from it. It was actually, looked like to be laying behind the actual door frame, which made the structure vulnerable to the elements. From that, it didn't appear fit for human habitation.
I think you put November, October. When did you go by there?
I went by in August, I
And
went
you
by
said
in
y'all
October.
put- Y'all supposed to put
Yes.
like unoccupied, why didn't you?
Why didn't I put a yellow sticker?
Yeah, why didn't you put a yellow stick?
I did.
No, you didn't.
Now, if it gets blown away or what happens to it, I don't know.
When someone lives there, they didn't have one.
Okay, when I went by, didn't seem like it was occupied.
Well,
The door was off the main
someone
frame.
does live there and they didn't get that, or I would have known it.
I'm just telling you what I saw.
Well, I'm telling you, if you're telling me that, I've never.
Understand.
Do you,
Why was there a
let's focus on
discrepancy
this.
of the date in the letter? If you went in August.
The
Okay.
broken windows, the doors.
Wait, I'm sorry, could you answer my question first?
What was that?
Why was there a discrepancy of the date? Because August and October are really far apart.
Yeah, I've been by these properties several times throughout the last year.
Yeah, but you stated in the letter where you were informing him that an investigation had occurred, that it happened in October. And that is because I think it was a form letter, because that's the same date that Mr. Pardo had on his
This
letter.
investigations on all these properties have been ongoing for the last year. I've been by these
why
properties
did you
several
put a
times.
date?
I'm barely learning about it now.
Because and you just put a date on it then you put the date of
I
the
took these
investigation.
pictures on August 3rd. Now, with that, the property was still exposed to the elements.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Because the door was
And-
open all the way?
No, it was not open. It was off the hinges.
Ben, do you have a current photograph of that property?
It's right there. Not a car.
No, not, you know, is the door been fixed? Is the door?
Yeah, it's closed. It's.
You know, it would be beneficial if we could have a picture of that
You
property.
drive by there. I know all of y'all drive by there. It's right on the
So-
highway.
Okay, so,
So you want me to go get a picture?
no, just saying, just to
I'm
clarify.
not trying to be.
No, we're just, you know, this is not, we're not after anybody here. All we're trying,
Really?
yes, I'm not kidding. Okay,
Okay,
I'm just saying,
we'll cut to the chase.
we're,
I'm a veteran. I'm trying to get back to that house. I don't live there right now. My uncle lives there. He
okay, so-
takes care of it as
okay, so
best he
somebody's
can.
living there, okay, somebody's living there.
I'm talking to the VA right now,
Okay.
Tunnel Towers,
Okay,
trying to
okay.
see what I can do. If that satisfies y'all right now, time-wise, I don't know how long it's gonna take. It's not gonna take, it'll take longer than 3
It's the
months.
VA.
Yeah,
That's enough.
Well, I
So,
think.
that's my answer. If y'all afraid of the way it looks,
I think
I'll clean it up.
I think the major issue here is the front door. If you-
Okay, the front door's closed up
the-
again.
Is the door, it closes and it's,
Yeah, it's closed.
And
As far
somebody's-
as I know.
okay, somebody's living in the property. Okay,
Right.
thanks for that information. I appreciate that. Does anybody on the commission have any questions here for this gentleman?
Well, what's the procedure going forward from here?
Well, we're just trying to follow up on his issues, and the issue was that the door was down, the door looks like it's in disrepair. The gentleman said he has replaced the door, or you fixed the
Or
door.
it's fixed, it's
Okay.
closed.
It's closed.
It's closed. And
Okay.
stuff. I've already talked to 2 contractors, by the way. They still have to get back to me of what we're intending to do with that. I wanna fix it up to the word, I don't know how long y'all lived here, whatever. That house has been there since 1970.
So I guess, Mike, your intentions are to fix the property up
Right.
and live
To
in it.
the best I can
Okay,
and stuff.
okay,
It's not gonna be 90 days.
okay, okay. Okay,
So,
all right. So somebody's living in the property, the door's been fixed, and eventually you're going to move into the property, whatever. Okay,
yeah.
okay. Okay. You have any
Any-
questions, James?
Is there any other
Yeah.
violations?
Anything?
Was there any other violations that you noticed at this
Any
time?
other issues?
Not at this time.
And the roof is intact, the rest of the windows are all intact, so it's weathered. Because there is a grant available to help people with weatherization
Mhm.
of property. So if you
Right.
know about that, let me know
Okay, yeah,
later.
cool.
There are grant monies available to help people that are living in houses or that
Yeah,
need to be
I
living in
can-
houses
Yeah.
that will,
Will.
so you can reach out to me. My name is Matthew McGovern. I'll be more than happy to help you with that and get you on the right track with that. But there is no other violations that you know of. This is
No.
just the door.
There was a
Okay.
door that was exposed to the elements.
You've addressed that. That's all there
That's,
is.
and that's based on, what we can observe.
Yeah.
One of the questions that I would have is, is there fire alarms functioning in the building if someone's in there?
No.
How many of us
You don't have
may
to-
or may
you don't have
not?
to
That's
answer
not
that.
a
You
question
don't-
you can ask.
you don't
That's
have
an
to answer
inside
that.
question. You get a warrant, you can ask
Are
that.
y'all gonna
Don't answer.
condemn it?
You don't have
because there's
to.
fire alarm
No.
there?
No.
We're going.
My house,
we're-
you wanna know about my house?
Wait a minute, we're going off subject, folks, we're going off subject.
Yes, you are.
We're going off subject.
Yeah,
Okay,
you are.
the issue in here is the door, there was no front door, the door was damaged, you have fixed the door. So if you could, sir, please just take a picture, if you could, that you've replaced the door. And that way, any other violations at this
As long as
point?
it's not exposed to the elements.
It's windows,
rain,
like the
cold,
windows or-
Stuff like that.
Stuff like that, okay? Just
Those were.
probably,
those were the
probably a
concerns.
couple of photographs
The people living there are invited to live there, correct?
Yes.
That's not my
It doesn't
business.
matter.
What?
But it's
Stop,
not.
no, no,
Look.
stop,
Oh, God.
no, no, just stop, just stop.
Laura, the reason I'm
Laura,
asking.
stop. Okay, I'll be.
It applies
dialogue.
specifically to being an unoccupied building. This is an
He's
unsecured
already
building.
told you.
It's occupied. It's none of your business,
Hey.
anything else. It's
Okay, y'all
occupied.
want-
Hey,
y'all live here,
In
y'all
order.
work it, right?
in order, we're having the discussion.
Okay, y'all,
Okay, let's have a
most of y'all
civil-
work here, right?
Let's have a civil discussion. We're
Do
having.
y'all know Gabriel Zuniga?
Yes,
Okay, that's,
I do.
answered. Your question's answered.
Gabriel. That rides the bike, everybody knows.
Everybody knows.
Okay. Any more questions? Thank you,
I'm
sir.
not trying to be rude.
No,
you're fine.
Hey, I'm telling you, right now, folks,
They're the
I'm
ones
tell-
that face it.
I'm telling you right there, there's no fines. We're not gonna penalize. All we're trying to do is get information, and you provided information. We appreciate it. Okay? Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. I'm out of here. Okay.
Thank you, sorry about that.
Okay.
Thank you for coming. I apologize.
Waste
Okay.
my time.
Okay, Fidel. Fidel property, 27975.
Yeah, I just gave you the file right now.
That's it?
That's it.
Can you bring the property up? Is this it?
Mhm.
That is a gorgeous property. by the
It
way.
is a
I'm not
historic
lying. I love
landmark.
that. I love that building.
People stop and take photographs of
I don't
that.
know who this is, but I
You
love
cannot
it.
speak
This is-
until you're.
Sir, in order. Can we have a discussion? Okay, sir, you got interrupted. That's your property, correct?
Right.
Okay, so. My question is to you, what is your,
Well, this is in the letter right
it's
there.
in the letter, okay, in the letter, right? Let's do this. Let's read the letter. Let's go to the next one. We'll read the letter.
Well, we may want to ask him some questions.
We can read it.
Read it,
Somebody-
read
You
it to
read
the
it.
public.
Go ahead and read it, Sam. Go ahead and read the letter.
Dated January 9th, 2025, Elizabeth Cumberland, 761 Martindale Falls, Martindale. And this is to the Honorable Mayor Catherine Glaze and the City Council. The historic Pardo Granado House is located at 606 East Crockett, 1/2 block east of 1979. It was built 125 years ago, according to the appraisal district. It is located on a double lot and contains 1,223 square feet. It has been preserved first by the Granado family and for the past 58 years by the Pardo family. See Google Map 2023 photo below. It is similar in material style and construction to the Sandoval House, which is also built 125 years ago in Martindale. That historic house is now located off I-35 and Center Point Road across from the Outlet Mall. It has been connected to the other historic home located by the Packensack founder Garland Warren in the 1980s. See photos taken in 2020. The Crockett Fannin Street neighborhood is historic. It is founded by African Americans freed from slavery at the end of the Civil War in about 1890. It is generally called the Burleson neighborhood because of the original families were descended from General Edward Burleson, an early Texas hero whose home has been preserved in San Marcos. The home is not an unsafe structure. It is secured from unauthorized entry by vagrants as required by the Texas State Legislature. See Local Government Code, Municipal Regulatory Authority. It is in relatively good condition. It does not leak. It is upright. The exterior siding is unpainted as when it was built in 1900 and as are other preserved homes in the same time period. It is not dilapidated. It is eligible for a historic marker from the Texas Historic Commission. An application of historic designation is in process. An improvement that could be made by the present owner, Fidel Pardo, is Enclosure of the base, as you can see, was done for the restored Sandoval House on I-35 Access Road and Center Point Road. Yours very truly, Elizabeth Cumberland. And so, yes, I'm looking at the photographs now, and when I drive by that house, I am always impressed at the way the grounds look around the house. It is impeccably mowed. Yes, it looks like an older house, but that style of structure, as was mentioned in this letter, is very much consistent with structures of 125 years ago that were farm structures and rural structures. And I am amazed of the condition of it for being that old. Homes of that age were built of longleaf pine, cypress, and hardwoods. These woods that were used to construct this home apparently were good because it is still standing. There may be something that the inspector wishes to mention about something regarding that property, but as much as I can see, that home does deserve historic status.
James, so what's your concerns on this piece of
With
property?
the front porch, with it leaning like that, has it always done that? The front porch, how it's leaning?
yeah.
Has it always leaned like that? And it looks like oh, okay, and then it needs new posts on there? Okay. And then the roof part on the right side it appeared like it was leaning a little bit also to the right. Okay. And then with your application for the historic renovation? Okay. I'm assuming like all that's gonna be taken care of. Okay, awesome. That's awesome. That's really neat that it has that much history in that home. That's really awesome.
Are those your only?
Yeah, just that it was leaning, like the front part was leaning. Yeah, and then the roof part.
So I guess what James is, we're trying to be helpful, proactive. We definitely don't want the building to fall down.
Right.
So it's just a precautionary point for structural to save the building from collapsing. Okay, so, do you have any other?
No, it was just the
That was
way
it?
the structure was
You
leaning,
have,
especially on the front porch.
Do you have any plans in the near future?
I think that's taken care of with this application to the
It
store.
has?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good enough.
Does he have to fix the front porch? Is that a requirement that you're asking him to do?
Yeah, as long as it's not leaning and it's stable. I mean, if you can put a post there,
Yeah,
a post shore or something like that.
something simple.
Just to keep it
Maybe,
from, that way,
maybe he can do something temporary to support it until after the historic commission has sent someone to look
Right,
at
that's
it
what I
to
was saying,
make
like a
sure.
post shore, like that's. like a
Yeah,
construction
because we don't
piece
want to
that's
change
a
anything
temporary
that they
post.
might then
No,
say.
absolutely not.
ruined it.
Right.
Mhm.
Did they give you a timeline as far as like how the application works?
Slowly.
I'm sure it's government, right? Everything's slow. Gotcha.
It took Duets like 1.5 years, so across the street.
any more questions, Mr. Fidel? Any more questions from us? Any questions, James? I guess
No.
we can go to the next one here. Property number 27880. We get that one up, please. That one is Busan, Fannin Street, 107 Fannin Street. Busan, how about pronunciation was right. Is that the one right there?
That is not how that looks right now. I just drove by it.
When was this picture taken, James?
This one was in August or October. It's been a minute. I have gone by a few times, especially with the grass in the front. And one time I left with a piece of tape where the door was, or would that window where it's like halfway in. I've left the yellow sticker there on the post with tape, but I don't know if they hold.
Is the owner here by chance? No, the owner's not here,
What are the concerns on this one?
but you're not the owner, sir.
No, I'm just
So
curious,
no,
so
no,
everybody knows.
No, you're not the owner, so we need to talk to the owner.
I'll ask James then, what are the concerns about the property?
What's
But
that?
he never came back.
He never came back.
So what happened?
He came by about a month ago asking, he picked up an application for a building permit, but he never came back.
So
Okay.
what are the
We'll just-
concerns
we'll
about
just-
the property?
Tell you what, we'll just.
That it's not boarded up, right?
We're
Let's just
discussing-
go, we'll just go to the next thing. He's not
No,
here.
we're
No, we're not.
discussing
No, we're
it.
not. We're gonna go to the next.
So I wonder if you're not sure if if your door hangers are able to affix to the door well enough to be sure that it stayed there. Maybe we could do an alternative method. Maybe you could like mail them a letter. Especially on a property like that where it doesn't look like someone lives there at the moment, then if you left a door thing, you're almost guaranteed that either it will blow off or something, or it's not gonna get to the owner because they're not there. So maybe it needs to go out in the mail.
Perhaps.
Okay, we can do a follow-up on that one.
Mhm.
Okay.
I'll just say one thing. I drove by there today and the grass does not look like that. It is cut down to this short. And they had collected all the branches and piled them in front of the house in order to clean them up. And the actual doors and windows were all secured with plywood.
Well, I think the owner needs to be here.
Oh, I'm just expressing
Okay,
what
let's
I
go,
saw
let's go to the
today.
next,
That's
let's
all.
go to the next. Here, property ID number 125082. Capital, is that right? I'm pronouncing that right?
Vita.
Is that person individual here?
This is part of the Northwest River Road area where recent subdivision.
Lanzola,
Oh, that's the farmhouse.
Yeah.
That's the farm. Okay, so nobody's here
Lanzola.
nobody's here.
Can I ask a question to the city administrator regarding that? I had thought originally when they were subdividing that property that the notion was, and maybe the mayor expressed that to me, the desire was to originally preserve and take care of that property, that we had expressed that to the developer. Wasn't there something about saving that house originally, some discussion about that?
I'd like to chat. Hey, hey. Somebody-
Oh, there he is.
You can speak.
All right. Go
Okay,
ahead.
I was
Thank-
trying to unmute myself. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Sure.
Bernardo.
Okay. Yeah, so the property was owned previously by Landaval. Landaval's no longer the owner of the property. So that the owner of that property is unable to attend. However, I can pass on messages to him. He's unable to attend, but I did have some questions about it because I do know that, he tried to
Can you
reach.
take this picture to the right house?
Yeah, could you make the picture?
That's not the right house, yeah.
That's not the right house. The next
The
one.
last one?
Next.
Um,
Oh,
Yeah. Okay, so I do know that somebody tried to reach out just to the city to understand what was the concern about it. And the response that was obtained was just come to the meeting, right? So, so it's difficult to know what's unsafe. I do want to ask some questions so that I can pass on the message to the owner of that property. First, if I just want to make sure, was the property inspected?
So I'll answer this. So it is, the exterior of the home has failed and it allows the ingress of water into the structure of the building. That alone is violation of the property maintenance code and was the primary basis for the complaint.
Yeah,
Anytime you have holes in the wall into the structure, you're not going to comply with the property
We
maintenance
should
code.
put that in the letter next time.
Yeah, because there was no response in regards to what was the issue with it. And because the only response that was obtained is come to the meeting. Now, I do have some specific questions, which I hope they can be answered. First one is, was the property inspected?
just from the roadway.
Okay. Do you know on what date?
I can't recall at this time, the
Okay.
exact date. Oh,
The other thing is,
picture. It's for the picture. The picture was taken on August 3rd.
okay. The property, as far as we're aware, is fenced off and secured. There's no access into it. If there would be access into it, there, that would be trespassing of the property because it's already fenced off. So the other thing is in regards to, how it's determined that it's an unsafe structure. I would like to know who is qualified to make that determination.
How high is the fence around it?
It's completely fenced off, 1.8 meters high, so around, what is it, 7 feet, 6 feet?
Okay, so it can be scaled then, correct? 6 foot
Six,
fence.
6 feet height?
Yeah, I did it as a kid.
Difficult
But that
to
won't-
go over it.
Yes, it would be trespassing, but it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Therefore, like you can see the window, those need to be boarded up. And you also have a hole in the roof on the front of the not that picture, the other one.
Yeah, just a question. Who is qualified to make that determination? Do you need a, qualification to determine compliance with code?
So, no. The qualification is the city staff is looking at the building and it's the interior of the building being open to the elements is evidence of it being unsafe. There has not been anybody who has entered the property or done an inspection. In that case, it'd be some sort of structural engineer that would make a full determination. But based on what's seen on the roadway, it fails the property maintenance code, and that's the genesis of the letters that were sent out.
Okay, yeah, so look, I'm not the owner. The owner is unable to attend. From what I understand, his intention is not to demolish the house. He has it as an investment property. I believe that, his intention in the future will be to do something in the property, but, it's not anytime soon. Now, the property's been in that same way for decades. I do know that with the subdivision, when Landaval subdivided this property, that was never indicated as a concern. As part of the subdivision, Landaval dedicated quite a bit of area for a butterfly park to the city. And there's always been sort of good faith on it. So it just, seems a bit strange that now this is sent to us, right? But anyway, yeah, there is no intention, I think, from the property owner to demolish that structure.
Bernardo, real quick question, sir. So you said his intention is to eventually restore the building?
I don't know if his intention is to restore the building. I think that is an option that he may have. So demolishing the building would, limit that ability to do that, right? I don't know if his intention is to reestablish it, if his intention later on is to demolish it and build another house there.
Could you be a favor? Could you tell him to come reach out to the city
Yeah,
if you could? I mean, just all we're trying to find out, is he going to keep the building? If he's going to keep the building, does he have a time frame or that
well,
type of thing? I know you don't really know the individual, but it would be best if he could reach out and talk to us.
yeah, I think that it would be worth just knowing what is in not compliance with the city's code, so then he can then make a determination on what to do with it. Because so far, that hasn't been communicated.
So here's the thing, unless you are going to grant the city access to do a full inspection, we can't tell you all that's needed on that property. That's one of the reasons under the procedures for tonight's hearing, that it's up to the owner, the mortgagee, lien holder to provide that to the city. We don't have access into the building. We don't know what is needed to make that a habitable place. So all we can say is from the road, this looks like it's dilapidated to the point where it's no longer suitable for habitation because it is open to the elements and the general lack of repair. That you can see that in the photograph. So if the owner wants to grant city access to make a full inspection, we'll willingly take them up on that, but we can only go as far as we can from the roadway.
But from the roadway, in order, you made a determination, right? Because you looked at it and then
Yes,
you took photographs and then you sent a letter. So you can write that down and send it to him, and he has that. That's all he's asking for, is what did you make this determination based on?
Failure to comply with the International Property Maintenance Code.
It's not
No,
noticed.
no, you
Not
specifically
noticed.
just pointed out things to him and said about the fact that if water can come in, blah, 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 you need to write that down and send that to him. That's all he's asking for. Thank you.
Bernardo, I have a question, Sam Clinton on the city council. So that lot was originally a part of your Dreamland subdivision? Are you there?
I think it is.
I'm muted.
Oh, God.
I think it is.
Uh-oh.
There it goes.
There you go.
Thanks.
So,
Can you repeat the question again?
yes, that lot and all the others along there was your original Dreamland subdivision, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And so when we looked it up on the CAD, it had Vita Capital as the owner. How long ago did that lot sell?
Probably around 6 months, 6 to 8 months ago.
Okay, so it's probably taken time.
Yeah, all of the lots on the property have been sold except one.
Okay, so it's probably taken a certain amount of time for the deed to be transferred to the current owner.
Yes.
I got that. Okay, thank you.
And I appreciate the previous comment. That is exactly right. That's all we're asking is just what is the basis of making that determination so that we can pass on the message and then they can make a decision with it.
When's the last time you've seen it, Bernardo?
Probably in early December.
In early December, when you last saw it, would you think it would be suitable for human habitation?
That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant.
That's the basis of what.
Jared,
If you
Jared,
as a city
that-
decided to make a determination that this house was in violation of an ordinance, then you better be able to write down specifically, here's why. So just do that. Why are you arguing with a reasonable request?
I'm not arguing against it.
Jared,
Say to him, okay, we would be happy to do that.
Jared, first thing, the building is
Yeah.
not occupied. So it's not a safety concern for someone that would be living there because nobody's living there, right? Second thing, the property is completely fenced off. There's a sign saying that it's private property that shouldn't be trespassed. And then third is all we're asking is exactly that. We just are asking based on the city's review of it, what conditions is it not complying with? Oh, that's all we're
Was it
asking.
fenced off? You did your investigation?
I don't recall.
They just want it written
No.
down and sent to them.
The,
They don't want
the
you to
hole,
tell them.
the hole in the front of the roof there was my main concern. Where the elements can get in. You can see on that picture, the top right, there's a large hole there on the roof. Where like the paneling of that attic space.
Okay. If we can get something in writing from the city, that would be great, so that we can pass on the message to the owner.
Okay.
Sounds good enough. Thanks,
Thanks.
Bernardo.
Thanks.
Okay. Now. Property 38236, Vivian Gonzalez.
Want a picture of this one?
No.
This one, right?
Stop it. Okay.
This one was not in y'all's, city council meeting a couple councils ago. Y'all did not have these properties in there, and why?
No clue.
Just missed these two properties? Okay, because y'all had a council meeting on these properties, correct?
I presented it.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
So why were these properties, the Antonio Gonzalez properties, why were they excluded from that meeting?
I don't have an answer to that.
I know we've been looking at well over 20 properties.
Okay.
And so this is a subset. I'm not sure how it
I would
was.
imagine it's not in there because it wasn't at that meeting. But go ahead and pull the picture up if you don't mind.
I don't have the
There is
picture.
no picture.
That picture? Okay. So how can I help you, gentlemen?
I guess my question, do you own this property, sir?
I do,
You do own this property,
I do.
okay? Have you,
I do. I have a deed in my name. I bought it.
so you own, let's clarify, you own property
I do.
ID 2028-236.
Arlene Lane, I own it. Yes, sir.
I'm talking about the property ID number,
I do own it.
228-236.
I'm not sure what that is. I don't have the
That's
number.
not
That's-
the property ID you called earlier.
3-8.
238-236.
Property in question.
Vivian Gonzalez.
right.
That's
I
the
own
question
that
I'm
property.
asking you.
My husband and I.
I
You own that property?
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you, okay, what about property?
Why are we asking another property? I'm here to discuss.
Wait a
this
minute, I'm
property.
just asking you a question,
No,
sir.
sir, please, let's stick to this one.
Okay, let's go ahead. So you do own the
I
property?
do, yes, sir.
Have you done any work on that property?
Why are you asking me that?
I'm just asking. Have
Is
you
that
done
what
any-
is that what this meeting's about?
I'm just asking
Can
because,
we go on to the next question?
no, we're not. We're gonna ask you, have you done any work on this property? And James?
I don't have to answer this question.
Sir.
Move on.
Sir, no, I'm running this speaking, not you, buddy. So, have you seen any activity over there, sir?
Is that what this meeting's about, Jay?
Hey,
Excuse me,
There's,
we own this property that he's talking about.
hey, wait a minute, who owns the property?
No,
We're
did
talking
you,
about the
did you
house.
just,
Do you own the property?
are
You own the,
allowed-
that's
are you
all, my
allowed-
question asked, do you own the property?
Are you allowing audience members to talk now?
No, I'm asking you, you own the property.
I
That's
do.
clear. Okay, that's all we need to know.
There you go.
Okay.
So what are you doing?
My question is, but James, have you seen any activity over there?
That meeting is not
No,
about this.
no,
She's saying she's the owner.
who is the owner?
She's talking about the property.
No, we-
I'm totally confused. Who is the owner of that property? You say you're,
I have told you at least 5 times. Can we
So-
move on to the next
so are
question?
you the owner?
I am the owner.
Okay, clarify it. Thank you. So my question to you.
I'm not answering it. So move on
Okay,
to the
well,
next
don't,
one.
okay. Can you tone it down, sir?
Can you?
I'll tone it down. Okay? So you own the property and you're not, okay, so what have you done with that property? Anything?
What? Is that what we're at this meeting for, Mike? Move on. I'm not answering that
Hey,
question.
you lower your voice, sir.
Mike, what is your problem with our
I
property?
have
Can
no
you
problem.
stay-
I'm asking if
I'm
James,
here
James.
because I got
James, you have any?
We got a letter from you guys, so you tell us what the problem is.
Go ahead, James.
there's several
Yes.
buildings on that property.
We're talking about
so-
103
Well,
Arlene
we don't
Lane.
go
So-
up here on one property
well-
ID, so let's go for it.
So with that, I've seen construction on the property. I don't know where it's going or any of that.
Okay,
The question is it still exposed to the elements?
it's not. It's not.
So have you done any work on that property?
Mike, that's
What
not,
if we
that's
Have you
not
got,
what I'm
have,
here
you-
for.
no, have you got a permit?
Mike, it's not what I'm
What's
here
the
for.
violation?
Let me tell you this.
So,
According to the International Residential Code, none of the work that you think I've done qualifies for a permit.
I'm asking.
And if you
I
think
didn't ask
any
about-
different, if you think any
You
different,
tone
you
it
can
down,
take me to
sir,
court.
sir. You tone it down.
This ain't court.
You tone it down.
Come on, Mike, let's go.
What are you gonna do? You threatening me?
Oh, stop it,
Come
all
on,
of
let's
you.
keep it
Jesus.
rolling.
I'm asking a question.
Stop.
You're
Keep it
asking
rolling.
irrelevant questions.
I'm not asking a relevant question. The man said you did some work down there. Did you do any work?
That's not what I'm here to court for. Not. I'm here to court for what? Safety violation on my house, correct? Yes or no?
James?
Is it exposed to the elements?
No.
Is it suitable for habitation now?
Yes, and I have an engineered stamp right here. Anybody that's opinionated on the word safety
Hey, back
needs
off.
to
dude.
know. You need to back off.
Hey.
And don't call me Gary. You can call me sir, or you can call me Mr. Doesn't like.
Are you serious? Come on, dude. Chill out, bro.
Lord said.
I'm not on a first name basis with you. Safe for occupancy.
Okay, we got it. We
Would you
got
like
it.
to see it?
Take it.
Make us
Safe for occupancy. Absolutely not. But I do want you to see it for the record. Can you see it? Because I'm gonna consider further, listen, I'm gonna consider further remarks from the city after I showed you that. I'm gonna consider it harassment. And it goes above your sovereign immunity as a city. And I'm going for $945,000. You can believe it.
I think we have a discussion on that. Let's go to the next item, please.
Let's
I
go.
think we're done with this conversation, sir.
Okay.
Okay, property number, this is Antonio Gonzalez, 27966.
Barbara, is that you?
The estate of Antonia.
Is that your house, Barbara?
Is that your,
Barbara, are you allowing me to speak?
The estate of Antonia Gonzalez is the property,
okay,
okay? It's not the homestead building. It's
Okay.
the property from the street to the back of the river, property ID number 27966.
okay, so
So there are many interested parties in this particular property.
how many parties?
There are many,
Many?
yes.
A
And I
lot,
have
Mike.
an interest of 8 of
talking,
the
sir.
estate. And there are many parties to this estate. The estate is different from the homestead buildings or the homes that are there, whether abandoned, demolished or whatever. The estate of Antonia Gonzalez, my great grandmother, is the land from the front of Main Street to the bottom to the riverbank.
Gotcha.
So that's two different entities. Vivian's house is different. Barbara Gonzalez's house is different, and then the estate of, well, mine now, Ruth Adams' house building is all different. That's.
So I guess I could probably ask you the
But the
question.
home is.
Ruth Adams doesn't have
The
a house.
home is yours?
Hers.
Okay. I guess all we're trying to get is to get some information.
So that's the difference.
Okay.
There's 3 buildings
Gotcha.
on one side.
So Mike, if you don't mind,
You're out of order. You're out of order. You're not, I didn't ask you to speak. Okay? I'm talking to you. Thank
can you
you.
give me permission, Barbara,
No.
to talk on your house?
I give you permission to talk. Okay,
Yes, Jared, I do.
Thank you, Barbara. Now, all directions can be asked this way.
I'm gonna go back to you
Why?
because I'm not getting
I want
information.
the
I need.
city to know
Hey,
what's.
hey, you're done. I want to ask you, so you represent that part of that property,
I
correct?
do.
Yeah, I want to ask you, another time, dude, I'm losing my patience with you. I'm losing my patience with you.
I'm losing my patience with you, Mike.
We're
Well,
all.
Guess what? I'm the chairman, you're not.
All of it,
They're
we're all
many
heirs.
Okay, so I want to get some information.
Parties in that property.
Huh?
All of it are heirs.
Okay,
As I said, there are many heirs to the property. He is not one.
good.
Okay, so her grandmother is one, her mother is one, and her aunt is one because they're all living.
Thanks for that. I appreciate that
And they are
clarification.
not present.
I appreciate
So
that
the rest of
clarification.
us are my 2 aunts. I am, I have interested parties filed with the county that of relatives that may give me their interest.
Okay.
Okay, but there are multiple people to the estate of Antonia Gonzalez.
Got it.
Like it was mentioned, the buildings are different, but the estate where the buildings sit on do not have multiple interest parties.
Thanks for that clarification.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Is there a single entity, like a trust or something?
There is
that-
not yet. There is not yet.
So the,
So if we had questions on this, we would need to have
I
all
have
the
letter-
the
yes,
parcel
all the
owners.
parcel,
Yes.
yes, absolutely,
Okay.
yes. So they
Are
were
they
all in
present?
make decision. No, and some are deceased and some have, it's a very extensive list.
Okay.
So, but however, Vivian Gonzalez and I have been paying the taxes since 2015. That's when we had the floods and everybody moved out.
You're due.
And, yeah, and so, and prior to that, it was our families together in unity.
That's what it was. So that's who took care of that property in unity for all of these years. So I am not giving, no lessening credit to anyone. I'm just saying in general, giving you a history. That's how it was.
I don't know, Mike, we can really make a determination. We don't know.
That's right, we don't know who the, I know.
Can I clarify though?
So am I not allowed to
There's,
speak?
hey, you're done, sir. You're done. No, you're done.
Wait. I asked him to speak for me,
Okay.
She owns the house.
okay?
Okay.
That's
No,
my
incorrect.
house. But why are you speaking for? Can you be quiet for now? Why are you speaking?
Because Barbara owns the house.
Did you visit a cordial meeting? Yes. And Barbara, yes, and Barbara, I know. I know, and Barbara, it just made you can speak. Can you just not talk over me? Go ahead.
I want you to talk, please, please.
I want Exactly.
How do you see that?
What's that?
If you've been sitting here, you've been glued all this time. Everybody's got their turn, right? We don't have to get off this off.
You're the only one that wants my house demolished in this.
No, no, I'm, forget about that.
Sir, you're done.
Your attitude.
I'm telling you.
I'm talking about.
Hey, hold on a second. Everybody just stop.
Well, there you go.
Go ahead. That's what we need.
I'm gonna speak for Mark.
Go for it, sir.
Okay.
You're like a reasonable gentleman.
Thank you. I've been listening to y'all too. And everything y'all talk, and obviously people are not listening to what you're saying. But everything you're saying is completely wrong. I don't know where you get the idea that y'all can make a determination on a home on a picture. I don't know where y'all get your classification that from a 20, 30 feet picture, you can determine. But according to y'all, if the house, outside of the house is fixed, that's all that matters. Because you cannot go into the home and you cannot make a determination if the house is habitable or not by a picture. I don't know where y'all get that idea from.
You're right. You cannot make
You
the,
can't.
but
So
you can,
why
but
is-
you can
why
tell if it's,
making-
you can't
why
tell if
making
it's,
determinations and sending letters out to people without even having the ability to make that determination.
you can make the determination that it's not habitable, but
How?
you cannot make the determination that
How?
it is
By a
habitable.
picture?
If it is
By
open to the,
picture. Let me
if it is
ask- well, let me
open
ask
to
you a
the
question.
elements and the ingress
If
of
you make a
water and the
picture,
elements.
why didn't y'all make a picture of August 3rd to January 9th? Why didn't y'all go out and find and make a picture of what happened then to what happened now? Because that, we're talking about 6, 7 months. So y'all telling me y'all take a picture in 9 months and then y'all sit around with your finger twirling and then decide, oh, let's make a decision, let's sell these people? Because I agree with Ruth. Everybody should be treated equally. I totally agree with that. But by the way y'all making it, well, the way y'all doing it, y'all are wrong. Y'all asking for lawsuits, what y'all asking for. Because if I was Barbara, the first thing I would do is I'd go hire an attorney, to find out where y'all get the idea that with 20 picture, y'all gonna make, and you're gonna tell me you cross a 6-foot fence to take a picture of that house?
No, I didn't cross the fence.
So in other words, you're talking about a 6-foot fence, you're talking about maybe 30, 40 feet, and that's what you became a determination?
From the picture, you
Uh-huh.
can see there's an obvious
So
hole
how can you
in that
determine if
structure
it's not habitable, if you're not inside of the home? I would
because
like
it's
to know
exposed
that.
to the elements
Element of what? I
of
don't,
weather,
okay,
cold.
the weather, okay. So what you're saying right here to everybody here, we fix the outside, done, because you're not allowed to go inside.
No, I'm not.
So.
Not without a search warrant, not without an
Exactly.
owner's
So in other
consent.
words, if the outside looks good, you got no reason to take it further.
Correct.
Okay, so if Barbara, I go out and fix her house on the outside, make it look pretty, fix it, paint it, cut the grass and all that, done. Correct?
Unless
that's
you invite
what's-
me in.
No, we're not gonna invite you in, because obviously, y'all talking about the government and all that stuff. The government only gets involved when they want something. And what I read from all of these, y'all right here, all y'all want is y'all want something.
Yeah,
That's what,
we want the
Well, then
dilapidated
do
house.
it
to be
correctly.
fixed.
do it correctly.
We just want the
Don't be
structures to be
taking,
safe.
don't be taking pictures from
Yeah,
August,
license.
we're in 2025, January 9th. Do you know that anything has happened between
Okay.
that? Do you? So you
Happened
don't?
with what?
Do you know that any of those
the
properties?
properties?
Yeah, has happened, anything from there, because all I hear is like, I don't know, what day, I don't know. Well, I don't know doesn't take this care of these people right here.
Well, thanks for your clarification, sir. I appreciate your civil, being civil. You have a comment?
I do. James, I guess what I really want to, because I've seen y'all drive by, you've left notices on, you know, whether they've gotten blown away or not. You have physically gone to homes, taken pictures of the homes. You've gone outside, looked at the outside structures and stuff and made your determination on that. But what would help is if a letter, a formal letter from the city, not 6 months, 8 months later, at that time with details. We need this. We saw this from, if not, you know what? And honestly, y'all put one on my RV and it got blown away. Then somebody gave me your number and nobody answered the call.
Yep.
Nobody answered that number for months and months.
Yep.
So guess what? I just said, forget it. I guess this number's bogus. But what I'm saying is if you could please be more detailed in your correspondence to the citizens on anything, you know, and be detailed, just don't say you're violating code number so and so. We don't know what that is. And even if we looked it up, it's very vague. So we need you as in your position to please be a little bit more detailed. And if you see stuff, say it. Say what your observations are and get these people to fix their houses and then follow up later, you know, and I know you guys are busy too, and I'm not taking away from your job, but I think you need to be more detailed in when you're inspecting from the street or whatever you're seeing and follow up with the actual owner, you know, regularly in a civil cordial manner to get your, whatever you want to accomplish done.
Understood.
That's it.
I would like to second that. Sorry, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
I would like to second that. And on that note, are you able to go back to picture of property 082?
Yours, you mean? Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Look, I know that property quite well. I've been there plenty of times, right? And you know, if you said that that property was inspected sometime on the second half of last year of 2024.
August.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That property is fenced off, right? So I don't know how a picture could have been taken from the street without seeing the fence.
Wow.
If you're insinuating I jumped over your fence, I did not.
Well, it's difficult to show that there would be a picture from that exact location.
He didn't know.
Just, you explain to him, James, how you took a photo. And we can go on with
I
it.
walk up, I don't cross any boundaries, and I can use the phone with its camera to zoom into the property. I don't cross any boundaries.
You don't
at all.
trespass.
I don't
right?
trespass.
I think we've discussed that one enough. Let's go on to, property number 28084, Mr. Perkins.
Mr. McLeod, can I please,
I thought we were finished, sir. Well, you go right ahead.
are you going to allow Barbara to discuss her house with you?
Well, I thought you were finished. I am so
She
sorry.
never did. You never asked her any
Okay.
questions.
I was talking to her, not you. I'm sorry, ma'am. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Can I ask a question? Is her property on 27966?
Yes.
Is that part of because my understanding that was the big lot of the land
Yes.
and there's no houses. Is there a house as part of that?
Right. Their homes are deeded.
My understanding, there was 3 separate PIDs within that lot, correct? You have one, Vivian's property
If
is the
you're
other one.
challenging my
No,
ownership.
I'm not challenging.
No, he's trying to clarify.
I'm trying to clarify. I said, you have one of them,
Yes,
and then what is the third one?
it's no longer there.
She did.
Just two.
But are you the owner of that other one, or is this one is part of the land?
No. This
Is
is part of it.
Yeah, but Barbara's is part of the land?
No,
No.
it is its own separate deeded house.
Okay, well, that's not on the agenda.
Yes, it is.
It's the.
No, it
Barbara's
is.
house is-
Barbara's house, no.
No, it's not.
It's only Vivian's and the state of Bernier Valley.
No, it's not on the agenda,
So
sir.
the house closer to the street is not.
No, sir, I don't, that's why I was trying to clarify.
Oh,
666
I'm
is
just
I,
blown away. I thought it was on there.
no, it wasn't. That's why I was
Okay,
trying to
thank you.
make that comment before.
Okay, so do you have any more specific questions on mine, or are we just passing on now?
Are we
That
done
wasn't
with
brought up,
ours?
yeah.
Y'all are done with ours? We don't have
Unless
to-
y'all-
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Just trying to.
I'm talking to you.
Avoid it going further. It's not
Are
necessary.
there any violations?
As of right now, no.
Okay, so we're good. So y'all are gonna leave us alone.
Leave you alone, like,
No longer send.
Like, leave you alone.
I think we're done. I think we're done with this. No, we're not. We're done. We're done.
He's gotta answer the question. I mean, they.
No, he doesn't.
There's nothing to answer.
So are we done with this?
I mean, if there's other violations like your yard and stuff like that, of course you'll hear from me. But I mean,
As
as
far
of right now,
structure
no,
in our home.
no, you're not gonna hear from me. Like,
Thank you,
We're
because
not-
it's stressful.
we're not under
You don't need it
violation.
stressful. So-
and I understand that.
So
but
we're
I'm not here to stress
You're not
anybody
breaking any
else.
violations according to you.
We don't need permits to do stuff.
Not according to policy.
That's the code, so he's doing code inspecting the permit requirements and things, some of that's handled by our police department. And some of the other staff, so we're moving towards a online based system to better track and manage those. Anytime that, and this applies to several properties, this isn't singling anybody out, but anytime that there's construction activity within a flood hazard area, it has concerns because certain rules will come apply.
To certain people.
No, to all.
across the board.
To any,
Everybody has
any structure
To
within
certain
a flood
people.
hazard.
I always have to get permits.
I get permits all the time.
The
I
flood,
always get a
And so-
permit.
Plenty of people
So
do.
I'll get a slap on the hand if I'm a good permit, right?
I have not violated any.
I'm not
I think, sir,
saying
we're not talking to you, sir.
that.
No, you're not allowed to talk. No, you're not allowed to talk. This woman's talking here.
so there are.
Quit
so
interrupting.
Anytime there's construction activity within a flood hazard area, anytime there's construction with a flood hazard area, it poses, concerns that the structure is being remediated to current standard, if that current standard would apply.
Okay, well,
And some of those investigations are difficult and hampered by the lack of permitting. And current investigations are ongoing within the flood hazard area on structures.
so we're clear because I hear different things, so I want to make sure.
As far, in terms of
I
a
have to get permit
subs,
every single time, and I just want to know what's,
the purpose of tonight's hearing had to do with unsafe buildings and occupied buildings,
okay.
not dealing with flood hazard
So
prevention
does the building-
issues.
So to clarify what Ruth is saying, does everybody gotta get a building permit or not?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So everybody
Everybody.
needs to get one. I'm
Correct.
just saying, because I want to fix
Correct.
Barbara's house.
Depending what you.
Yes.
Depending on
Yeah,
what
it is.
you are.
You have to look in the, they go by the IRC, which is the International Residential Code. And if you fall within the construction you're doing within that code, then you're fine. Now, if you're doing something outside of that code, which can be several things, but if you're within that code, you're fine. So just. if you
I would
look up the
I have a
International
vote,
Residential
I
Code-
would caution you with that statement.
Yeah.
I don't think that's good advice.
Yeah.
Each of the codes have very limited exceptions to the codes, typically in section 1.05, 1.07, somewhere in that range. And they'll have specific listed things. Oftentimes it has to do with fences,
So
driveways
the
of that
safest thing
nature.
to do
But-
is
but-
just get a building permit to fix it.
And most of the time, if you submit a permit and it's not required, we'll
I
let
just
you
want to
know.
clarify, because I'm gonna help her fix her house, but I want to make sure that the thing is taken care of. Because all I keep hearing is fix the outside. Nobody's saying fix the inside, fix the inside, fix the inside. He just wants to make it look pretty. We can make it look pretty.
You have a question?
Answer that question for me.
You have a building
If it's outside work, we don't have to have a permit, right?
Unfortunately, everybody has, I get
No,
permits.
we'll
We have to get
I'll
a
get
permit.
the permit.
Oh,
We have to get a permit. I mean, that's the rules for everybody.
We just follow it,
Everybody has to get a
and
permit.
that's it.
We're not singling anybody out here. I get permits, the mayor gets permits, everybody gets permits.
I just think there are some people here that feel that some people have to get them, some people don't. I'm
No,
gonna,
yeah, that's how it's been.
Some people.
That's
Not
what's
any,
going on right
it's
now.
not that way.
Okay,
I'm just gonna get it. Everybody do it the way they
that's the
want to
best
do
thing
it.
to do, is to get the permit.
I get-
Correct.
permit.
You're right, sir. You're right. You know,
Like, can I say something?
Yes.
I have just a thought that with the short time that I've been working for the city of Martindale, I've learned and currently going to school for public administration. I've also learned a thing or two while learning and being around the permitting environment. I believe the city of Martindale has fairly priced permits. And for the amount of investment that y'all put into your homes when doing a restoration, renovation, or an addition to your structures, etc., for any kind of permit, I think the price and the work of inspection is worth when you're inputting money into your property. And as much as it sounds like a hassle to get a permit, I think it's to conserve your investment. It's not because we like to nag. It is certainly just to maintain this city everlasting as much as possible when you invest your money into your structure.
I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you. It's just a politics involved. It's just that some people, they feel, and I don't live in I live in San Marcos. I'm Barbara's brother-in-law, but I'm gonna fix her house. But what I'm saying is that, what I'm getting the concern from the people here is the politics involved. Certain people have to, certain people don't.
Guarantee there's no politics
I'm just,
involved.
I'm just going about what I'm hearing. I'm not.
No, trust me, I get permits all the time.
And I do too.
Especially, especially as a council member, we have to get permits.
And I understand. I just feel that certain people here feel there's the politics involved. I guess the politics in everything, but, and I understand what you're saying.
And like I said, this whole comment I just made, it's simply for those who get a permit and for those who don't get a permit. There's two sides to it, and at the end of the day, there's as long you can say there's politics. However, no one is going to take away the benefit of you getting your permit.
Oh, no, I totally agree with you. I'm just saying that it feels like there's politics involved, but, okay.
Okay.
I'll take care of this.
I have a question.
Wait.
What are the rules of inspection? What do you mean by that? He's saying that you can do so much and get away with that without asking for inspection. What is he talking about? How much of that can you do?
I have no idea.
Well, yeah, you don't mention it, well, no.
I said without getting an inspection, I
Yeah.
didn't say that.
Well, you said you can, the law says you can do so much.
If you,
So I want you to explain, give me so I can understand it.
yeah.
Yeah, explain it to me.
Yeah, let me explain.
Yeah, explain it to me.
So the International Residential Code, which is the code you guys go on. And I'm gonna try to be, try to let me speak, Mike. I'm
Go
really-
ahead, you
I'm
got the
sorry.
floor, sir. It's all
So the
yours.
International Residential Code is the code that the city goes by. Is that correct, Mr. Leon?
Go ahead and speak.
So that's the code the city goes by to basically, to have the basis on whether the work you're doing in your home requires a permit or not. And if you're within and it's clear, it's not hazy, like they have to also determine what's permissible and what's not. And so as long as you're within those standards and those boundaries, you don't have to pull a code. There are several things you have to pull a permit. There's several things you have to pull a permit for.
Who, so
If
who
you're
makes that-
referring to.
No, I'm just saying, who makes that decision? You do?
The city does. So they look at the
Because there's
IRC.
regulations that every flood zone must have different regulations.
The
right?
flood zone actually doesn't have any different regulations outside of a 50-50 rule. And if we can clarify that later, but point is, it still goes under the IRC. You understand?
I hear what you're saying. So what can you do without an inspection?
Everything within the IRC.
Well, what is
Right
it?
here.
Is it putting a nail on the wall or is it putting a structure floor?
I'm not gonna
or what?
look at the IRC and it's a very long, thick
Yeah.
piece of.
Well, I'm just, I think you can make it short, so I can
This-
understand that.
This is it, sir, to answer your question. It's in section 105. Permits required, works exempt from a permit. Storm shelters, one-story detached accessory structures, less than 200 square feet, fences not over 7 feet high, retaining walls, water tanks, sidewalks, driveways, painting, papering, tiling, carpeting, cabinets, countertops, or similar finished work, prefabricated swimming pools less than 24 inches deep, swings and other playground equipment, window awnings supported by an exterior wall that do not project more than 54 inches, and decks not exceeding 200 square feet. Then electrical, listed corded plug, temporary decorative lighting, reinstallation, attachment of plug receptacles, replacement of branch circuits, electrical wiring, minor repair work, including replacement of lamps and connection of approved portable electronic equipment, approved permanently, gas, mechanical. This, if it is not specifically listed here, a permit is required.
Okay.
So the house has to be less than 200 square feet to,
An accessory structure must be less than 200 square feet in order for, so storage shed, 20 by 10 is your limit. If you do a 20 by 10, larger than 20 by 10 storage shed, a permit for installation is required. And that becomes a big issue, especially in the flood hazard area, where those structures can get up and float away and cause damage to other
Where
properties.
can we get copies?
This isn't a special sign, you can go, it's online,
Okay.
section 105. And you can pull it up.
Okay.
But then there's other ordinances that the city council passed.
And then I asked her, where do you see that?
The ordinances like, the space that you,
What do you call that? What do you mean?
that where the rain has to fall on the.
Impermeable.
Impervious
The
cover.
impervious
Impervious
cover.
cover.
So then if you have a small lot, you can't put as much on it. Because in a residential area, you can only cover 20% of your land with the impervious cover.
That's when building a new, that's new construction.
Or exceeding 50% of the before construction appraisal. And in that case, all zoning, all building, everything starts being applied, because right now, in a lot of cases in our neighborhoods, there's continuing non-conforming uses, which can continue up until the point where more than 50% is built.
Thank you for
Everyone's one thing. You said something a little while ago, but you're all very true. It is a job. To send out the letters and all that, it's not like, no, what I'm just saying to that, it's, what are you doing, it's part of your job. It is part of your job. I know, they gotta make it complete. And complete, because that's because people's lives are involved.
Exactly, that's what she said, that's what I said.
And I know, but what I'm saying is that if certain people get upset about that situation, if Mr. DeLeon, if you're getting upset about what they're saying, because I can see your features, I'm not apologizing for them, but you're a public servant.
Yeah, I'm not.
And we appreciate you being so,
And,
this is all about information.
and it's just, it comes with the job.
It does.
No, I'm not upset.
No, okay.
I'm sorry if you think I am, but I'm not.
We can agree or disagree. Doesn't matter.
But it's right to be civil.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that people are upset. Y'all are the public servants. Y'all supposed to serve us. We're not supposed to serve you. And that's what I'm trying to say. People get upset about it. I do appreciate y'all's time. I really do, because it's 8 o'clock. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
All right, we're going to
Let's
Mr.
move on.
Mr. Perkins. Okay, property. Property ID number 28084.
Yes, it is.
Did you
But they.
What about violations?
go ahead, James, what's there?
The structure has another structure that seems to have toppled on to the roof, causing a large hole in the roof, leaving it exposed to the elements.
It's not a residence of any sort, so what are we worried about it for?
It's
I'm not gonna have anybody in that structure.
It's any structures,
That structure cannot have a hole in the roof,
correct.
really. And it has not gone through the roof. That's a dust collector from the cotton gin.
From what I could see from the public road.
Let's point out, what hole are you talking about?
There's one on the corner.
The one
Right there, I think, right there.
Right there.
Right there, there's one right there.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
I need to get some tin on that, what you're saying?
Yeah, just repair. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, what else?
So from the backside, and I couldn't get a good picture because of your trees and what have you, and I'm not gonna go onto your property without your permission.
You'd have been trespassing to get it from the back.
No, I didn't.
Good.
So I didn't go onto anybody's property, but I could not get a good picture, but it appeared like there was a hole on the backside of the roof. I just couldn't get a good picture. And I couldn't get a good glance at it without going onto your property.
Tin laying on the ground right over there. We'll work with that. Y'all give me a little time to take care of it. What else do we do?
That sounds very reasonable.
And if there is a hole on the inside,
While we're, I don't want anybody in the structure. I don't want anybody around the structure.
Yeah.
This thing's full of antique cotton gin equipment. I don't want anybody in this place.
Understand?
It's got a 6-foot fence with 2 foot of barbed wire
fence-
all the
your-
way around the beach.
Your fence was very high.
And I do leave this gate open so these people can get down to Cottonseed to take care of people that, because we all the time, we're having pumps down there on the river for people to get. And I let the cat for the police to get through there and I leave it open for that reason. And if I'm gonna have people coming in on my piece of property, I'm gonna start locking the gates. I don't
I
like
would
people
too,
coming in on my
absolutely.
piece of property without telling me. First thing, you
Not
just
you,
don't,
but.
well,
No,
anybody.
yeah, absolutely, I understand.
Mr. Parkins,
That was,
have you considered getting the Texas Historic Commission to,
We have, and we will probably do that, and that will solve a lot of these problems, I guess.
it will preserve your building, absolutely. I would highly recommend that you go to our city's Historic Commission and ask them for their assistance with that.
Martindale's,
Mhm.
okay.
We
Yeah,
will.
we didn't know where to start. on.
Yeah.
Start with
They'd
that.
be a real good place to start.
Done and done. I'm not, I was told, just shut up, don't see me. But go ahead.
What do you need? We're
What
gonna
do you
do.
need? We'll do what you
no,
need.
just what we spoke about right now. Again, I couldn't see.
Y'all had something in there about my Studebaker. Yeah, that Studebaker's been in.
You had a vehicle thing on the second
Oh,
page
that's correct.
that a lot of people did not understand why that was included.
So with that particular vehicle, part of the code is if it's not registered and it's not moving, then it needs to be either
But the
updated or
vehicle in
moved.
that picture, if you're showing right there, has been in Texas Monthly and
So-
Texas Co-op.
So a car company, is it road ready?
It was when I parked it. I parked it.
So,
When I
this
ran into
is-
the back, when the highway patrol was white ran into the back of it, I parked it.
So chapter 193, junk vehicles. Anything that's where it's visible from a public space, public right of way, if it, basically produces urban blight, that's probably the most applicable
I just pulled
of
that thing
these.
out, put for sale sign on the Joe. Because that
No,
Cover it.
that covers the look worse than. That's what he did.
so what you
I
can
want
do
you to
is put it in a
talk to
complete,
Texas Monthly and tell them that we think it's blight in the city.
Come get it.
what you can do is completely enclose it or start in a, basically a junkyard, which wouldn't really be applicable. So
As long as it's not.
put it in a building, put it in a garage.
Okay, what else?
Is there anything else?
Fix the holes in the roof and get rid of the car.
No,
Get
you
the
don't
car
get
taken
rid of
care
it. Just, yeah, as long as it's not visible, if it's not road ready, as long as it's not visible from the roadway.
Good.
I had a question about the cotton gin itself, because I know 5 of them were built on the San Marcos River originally. We have this one here, there's Fentress and Staples, I think, and yours. Do you know anything about when it was built or anything about it? Just briefly,
This one
yes.
was built in 1912 and then it was added on to again in 1935. There was the original structure and they added another set of cotton gin equipment on this that you're seeing right there, 1935. So it was added on. Now, as far as the structure is concerned, this is triple brick construction. Same as these walls here. I cut this hole in this wall right here and this stuff don't move. This is as good concrete walls you'll get, and they're 3 layers of brick. And this whole thing, there's not a hairline crack in the structure. So
Do you have any desire to do a certain thing with it? I mean, since it is a historical structure, what's your dream about
No.
that structure?
Win the lottery.
You too?
Do you play?
No, I don't. You gotta play
If I
to
start,
win.
she'll tell me, shut up. At one time, there was a time that I wanted to do something. Shut up.
We thought about that in our younger years. Now.
Okay.
I just had the, right now, we're gonna get through this situation, get some roof
Got
on there,
So,
get that car moved.
Okay.
so is there anything
thank you.
else, James?
Y'all give me 90 days on that?
Sure.
Hold on to it, Mr. Perkins, so the developer don't buy it and tear it down.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. I just want to thank you for maintaining it where we've got this beautiful piece of history right here in Martindale, and thank you for that.
That's why it's sitting there right now, because I have had it. And it wouldn't be there if I didn't have it.
That's exactly right.
Love it, thank you.
See, everybody gets included on this fund, see? So is there anything else, James, from Mr.
No,
Perkins
sir.
here? So what, 90, you say 90 days? 90 days?
I mean, just in a reasonable time.
Reasonable timeframe. Thank you.
Okay,
90 days is it's a bad time of year.
If I can say something.
go ahead.
So I know this is a lot of y'all's first time meeting me. I don't recognize any faces from my rounds of putting on door hangers for grass or other cars. There's other cars in the community that I've spoken to. But I will tell you, I will get better for y'all. I've been a public servant for a long time. I'm no longer a peace officer, but that's because I choose not to be. This man right here has been trying to convince me to reactivate it, but I choose not to do it. And I came to Martindale mainly because of this man right here. He was my captain before, and now he's my boss again. So that kind of says something as far as I like working for him. My point of all that is when I do contact people, it's never to write them or a summons or say, hey, you better do this or else. Throughout my whole career, I've always tried to help people, and that's what public servant is. Excuse me if my face looks a certain way. I am not angry by any means. I probably just have that resting face that looks mean.
You got the cop look. You can't-
Yeah, I got the cop look, right? But anytime I contact people, going off what we just spoke about, whether it's their grass or cleaning up their property, I always ask them how long it's going to take, because there's been properties that I've gone to where it's an accumulation of stuff that has obviously been going on for years. And I've only been here a little over a year. So I asked them, okay, well, what is a reasonable amount of time for you, barring your personal life and what's going on with you? You know, let's work something out. It's never just to put the hammer down on anybody. So if anybody felt like that, you know, I do apologize for that. My goal of that is not to cause y'all undue stress. I saw the structures, they appeared unsafe, and that's why I brought it to y'all's attention. It's not to cause any kind of, again, undue stress for you. That is not my purpose.
It does.
And I understand that. Just like when I would write speeding tickets to people when I was on patrol, it caused them stress, and it's not my intention.
It's maybe $200, your house, your home, it's your.
Absolutely, it's your livelihood, yes.
Heck of a lot of money. You have frightened a whole lot of people.
It's a good indigestion when you get a letter from people.
We're here, you know, I didn't get frightened, but I'm here because I know people are.
Understand. And in the future, I will be better for you.
And I think if the council knew this was going on, you know, that you can round up a list of people that somebody drove by and didn't like the way their house looked and what. When I came here 30 years ago, mind you, everybody here will tell you, this is like night and day, the difference in improvement of this old community. There's enormous amount of, and if you see a person who's mowing their yard and picking up all their garbage, have you ever been by Mr. Fiedel's house?
Nobody
Okay.
has their yard in part of it.
You know, it's like.
Oh, it's immaculate. It's
So
nice.
much disrespect, and now and then, and I understand, like, I think it was Sonia Villalobos who said, so I had to put it on Facebook to protect these people, but it shames people, it humiliates people, it takes away their personal dignity. This man, who has been my friend for years and years, this is probably the first time in his life he's ever been summoned anywhere for anything. And now he's doing he couldn't do more to his property, and he's preserving.
I think we helped him. I think we're trying to
No,
help.
you have insulted him.
No, I disagree with you,
And not only
Elizabeth.
that, you
Oh.
have injured my eardrum.
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying, well, we gotta have order, and I think it's a very productive meeting.
In an orderly fashion, because that is disrespectful to the community.
Well, you can run for council then. Okay, I guess, anything else?
Yes, we have to respond to what Jared presented to us at the beginning of the meeting about timelines and action and all this. I think it now, based on what we've heard and the concerns and the responses, that we really don't unless others can conclude something else, we do not have to take action on any of these concerns at this point. Do I have a second on that, or how are we going to proceed? Jared, since you brought this up
I think
originally,
that's
how
a fine motion that should be considered.
to say at this point, we are not taking, I make a motion to say, based on the information I've heard on these 7 properties and the responses that we've heard from the concerns of the citizens and their concerns to us, that at this point in time, we are taking no action at this meeting on any of these properties. Do I have a second?
I second that.
Yeah.
And how else do we all vote on this? Matthew?
I agree with you. Want to have discussion or just? go for vote?
Oh, yes, okay, yes,
Go
but when
Vice
we have
Chair.
a second, there is a discussion at that point.
Anybody want to discuss?
Laura, do you have anything?
Only what I sent in a letter much earlier today to Jared and the mayor and the attorney saying that since we had not provided anyone specific information about the way in which they had violated this statute, all we sent them was the ordinance and a thing that said, come to a meeting without providing them a time or a place. And we gave them a date that was last year. I did not think it was fair to expect them to have a plan in mind when they don't know exactly how their property violated the ordinance. So I had suggested that we do an automatic 30-day suspension of any activity until they receive an actual certified letter with specific information about what needs to be corrected to make us happy. And it needs to be signed for, because the letter that I looked at, as I mentioned in the email that I sent with my concerns that no one replied to, and I sent it this morning. That concern is that we don't even know whether people got the letter, because the one that I saw had no name on the front. It just had a PO box, Martindale, Texas. So I think that's highly unusual and unprofessional. And I don't think that just mailing somebody a statute in the mail is going to survive any kind of, either we can give you 30 days or 90 days or refer you to court. You're going to go to court and hand them that letter and go, look, we gave them due notice of what?
One thing I noticed about the letter too, and that there was no return address.
None.
Yeah.
Well, there were 2 letters sent, one certified and one in.
No one was given a certified copy of this and no one was asked to sign for it, so stop.
And then there was no return address on those envelopes either. So if they would have got lost in the mail, say, they wouldn't have known where to send them back to.
Right.
That's the problem I see in that, is that, I mean, maybe sometimes you would think, well, if you get an official letter from a government or a city, oh, I'm just not going to open this up and read it. But if it was sent to the wrong PO box, or if it was sent to a PO box that person no longer owns or maintains, then it would have possibly been returned. And then we wouldn't have had a place to send it back to.
Right.
Okay, look how his name is not even on it.
Well, okay, so we'll work on that better. I think we need to proofread these
Yeah.
letters, James, and not just have you write them up, because the date is not a big deal to be a year off. But I think one of us, either on the council or something, needs to proofread these letters before they go out. And we'll talk about whether it should have had a return address or it should have had a name. And so I appreciate Laura for bringing these things up to our concerns. Or, thank you.
Any more discussion? Okay.
Vote.
Yep.
I made the motion, so Matthew,
I agree with you.
you agree, Terry?
I agree.
Aye.
Aye,
It's unanimous.
unanimous. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks for coming, folks.
Thank
Have a good
you.
night. Do I have a motion here?
Yeah, we need a motion to
Hey,
adjourn.
if anybody
Mike, we
sees a
need a motion
clear
to adjourn.
umbrella
I know. Do
between
we have a
you, like,
motion
hand it
to
over.
make a
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second that.
8:19.
8:19. I have a second. All in
Aye.
favor?
Yeah.
Aye.